Peni Parker, Earth 14512. On Earth 14,512, the role of Spider-Man is taken by Peni Parker, a young Japanese-American girl who bonds with a biomechanical suit called Spider, but spelled SP/DR. Her story begins at the age of 9, when her father, the original Spider pilot, dies in battle. She is adopted by her Aunt May and Uncle Ben, who reveal to her the existence of the Spider Project, a fusion of advanced robotics and a radioactive spider that serves as the suit's biological component. To continue her father's legacy, Peni agrees to let the spider bite her, creating a psychic bond that allows her to synchronize with the machine. By the age of 14, Peni is a fully active pilot of the spider suit, operating as her universe's version of Spider-Man. Unlike other spider people, her abilities are entirely dependent on her connection to the mech. The spider inside Spider functions as both a partner and a co-pilot, linking to Peni's nervous system so that the suit responds seamlessly to her thoughts and emotions. This unique setup makes Peni's powers as much about emotional resilience as physical skill. Her early battles included fighting Mysterio, who unleashed hallucinogenic gas across New York, and confronting villains tied to illegal biological enhancements. She also encountered dangerous symbiotes, including a version of Venom piloted by Eddie Brock. In one harrowing encounter, the Venom suit consumed her Aunt May, forcing Peni to make the agonizing decision to destroy it while searching for her missing family. Peni's role expanded into multiversal events like Spider-Verse. She was recruited by other Spider people, such as Spider-Ham, Spider-Man Noir, and Gwen Stacy to resist the Inheritors. Her spider suit, though advanced, was eventually destroyed in these battles, forcing her to rebuild and adapt. Despite her youth, she proved her courage repeatedly, balancing the crushing responsibility of her role with the vulnerabilities of being a teenager. Later, Peni joined the Spider Society under Miguel O'Hara, where her technical expertise and mech piloting skills made her invaluable. Her story also intersected with Miles Morales during dimensional conflicts, and she later reunited with Gwen Stacy and Peter B. Parker in forming a new Spider Band to track and rescue Miles. Peni Parker represents one of the most unconventional yet compelling spider heroes. Her reliance on teamwork, technology, and her psychic bond with the spider makes her stand apart from traditional versions. At the same time, her struggles, loss, responsibility, and the fight to prove herself place her firmly within the shared legacy of Spider-Man across the multiverse. Miles Morales, Earth 1610, later Earth 616. Miles Morales first appeared in the Ultimate Universe on Earth 1610 as the successor to Peter Parker. He was born in Brooklyn to Jefferson Davis and Rio Morales, with his uncle Aaron Davis secretly living a life of crime as the Prowler. Miles gained his powers after being bitten by a genetically enhanced spider that Aaron had stolen from Oscorp. The bite granted him spider-like abilities, similar to Peter's superhuman strength, agility, wall crawling, and a danger sense, but also gave him unique powers: venom blasts that could paralyze enemies and a camouflage ability that allowed him to blend into his surroundings. Miles initially hesitated to use his powers. He was only 13 when Peter Parker of his universe was killed in battle against the Green Goblin. Feeling guilty that he had not acted sooner, Miles was inspired by Peter's sacrifice and resolved to carry on his legacy. He donned his own black and red Spider-Man costume and took on the role, despite public skepticism and his father's disapproval of superheroes. In the Ultimate Universe, Miles confronted a wide range of villains, including versions of Venom, HYDRA, and his own uncle Aaron, who manipulated him into fighting crime for personal gain. Aaron's death during a battle with Miles haunted him, reinforcing his sense of responsibility. Over time, Miles earned the trust of allies such as S.H.I.E.L.D., Captain America, and other young heroes. Following the collapse of the Ultimate Universe during the Secret Wars event, Miles and his family were integrated into Earth 616, the main Marvel universe. This effectively made him a coexisting Spider-Man alongside Peter Parker. Miles struggled at first to find his place, balancing high school life, friendships, and heroism while living in Peter's shadow. However, Peter recognized Miles's courage and abilities, encouraging him to carry the mantle with pride. Miles became a central figure in multiversal events, including Spider-Verse and Spider-Geddon. He joined teams such as the Champions and the Avengers, solidifying his role as one of Marvel's most prominent young heroes. His storylines often explore themes of identity, cultural heritage, and the challenge of stepping into a legacy greater than himself. Miles Morales is now firmly established as a definitive Spider-Man. His unique powers, resilience in the face of personal tragedy, and willingness to rise above doubt make him one of the most important additions to the Spider-Verse. His popularity has extended into animation, where Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and its sequels brought his story to a global audience, cementing him as a Spider-Man for a new generation. Superior Spider-Man, Earth 616, Dr. Octopus in Peter Parker's body. The Superior Spider-Man is not an alternate universe Peter Parker, but rather Dr. Otto Octavius, inhabiting Peter's body in Earth 616. This transformation occurred after Otto, terminally ill and near death, used a mind swap device to switch consciousness with Peter Parker. Peter died in Otto's failing body, leaving Octavius in full control of Peter's body, powers, and life. Unlike Peter, Otto approached the mantle of Spider-Man with a ruthless, calculating mindset. He retained Peter's memories, which forced him to understand the meaning of responsibility, but his interpretation was twisted. Otto declared himself the Superior Spider-Man, believing he could be a more efficient and effective hero than Peter ever was. As Superior Spider-Man, Otto used his genius-level intellect to enhance Spider-Man's arsenal. He developed advanced spider bots to monitor the city, created new weaponry, and operated with a level of precision Peter never attempted. His crime-fighting methods were harsher and more brutal, often bringing him into conflict with allies who noticed his uncharacteristic aggression. He even killed criminals when he deemed it necessary, crossing lines that Peter never would. Otto also drastically changed Peter's personal life. He earned his doctorate, started Parker Industries, and built a more secure financial and professional foundation. However, his arrogance and authoritarian style alienated friends and allies, including the Avengers, who grew suspicious of his behavior. Eventually, the real Peter Parker's consciousness re-emerged within his own mind, asserting itself during battles against powerful foes. Otto, confronted with Peter's unwavering selflessness, realized that despite his intellect and efficiency, he could not surpass Peter's heart and compassion. In a climactic act of redemption, Otto willingly relinquished control, restoring Peter to his body so he could save the people Otto could not. Though his time as Spider-Man ended, Otto's legacy as the Superior Spider-Man continued. He retained memories and eventually cloned himself into a new body, taking up the identity again in later storylines. His run as Spider-Man remains one of the most striking reinterpretations of the character, posing the question of what Spider-Man would be if guided by pragmatism, ambition, and ego instead of humility and compassion. Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly, Earth 616. The Scarlet Spider identity is most famously tied to Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker created by the villainous geneticist Miles Warren, also known as the Jackal. Ben was genetically identical to Peter, but developed his own personality and sense of self. After being manipulated and hunted, he eventually embraced the heroic legacy of Spider-Man in his own way, adopting the alias Scarlet Spider. Ben's early life was filled with hardship. As a clone, he suffered from an identity crisis, questioning whether he was real or merely a copy. To distance himself from Peter's life, he left New York for years, traveling across the country and taking the name Ben Reilly in honor of Uncle Ben and Aunt May's maiden name. During this time, he lived a modest life, often working menial jobs, but he never stopped using his powers to help others when needed. Ben returned to New York during the Clone Saga, one of Spider-Man's most controversial but significant storylines. Wearing a distinctive red suit with a blue sleeveless hoodie, he fought alongside Peter Parker as the Scarlet Spider. For a time, it was even believed that Ben might be the original Peter, and that Peter was the clone. This revelation was later reversed, but it marked Ben as more than just a duplicate. He was a fully realized hero in his own right. As Scarlet Spider, Ben fought many of the same enemies as Peter, including Dr. Octopus, Venom, and the Jackal. His style, however, was often more brutal and pragmatic, reflecting the struggles of his uncertain identity. He also briefly assumed the role of Spider-Man when Peter retired temporarily, showing his capacity to shoulder the full weight of the responsibility. Ben's story has been marked by repeated tragedy. He was killed by the Green Goblin, but later resurrected through cloning experiments by the Jackal. His resurrection left him mentally unstable, torn between his inherent goodness and the trauma of being killed and reborn multiple times. In later years, he adopted darker identities, including the villainous Chasm, though his core identity as Scarlet Spider remains tied to his attempts at redemption and heroism. The Scarlet Spider represents the theme of identity within the Spider-Verse. Ben Reilly is a reminder that being Spider-Man is not just about who was bitten by the spider, but about choosing responsibility, even in the face of self-doubt and suffering. His place in the Spider-Verse makes him one of the most enduring and tragic spider variants. Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, Earth 616. Jessica Drew is one of the earliest and most significant alternate spider heroes introduced in Marvel Comics. Unlike Peter Parker, her powers did not come from a radioactive spider bite but from a genetic experiment. As a child, Jessica was gravely ill from uranium exposure, and her father, Jonathan Drew, attempted to cure her by injecting her with a serum derived from irradiated spider blood and sealing her in a genetic accelerator. This treatment saved her life but also granted her powers. Jessica eventually grew into adulthood isolated from normal society, manipulated by HYDRA into becoming an agent and assassin. Under HYDRA's control, she initially fought against heroes like Nick Fury and the Avengers, but she eventually broke free of their influence and sought her own path. strength. Taking on the identity of Spider-Woman, she committed herself to fighting for justice while trying to reclaim her independence from those who had used her. Her powers differ from Peter Parker's in several ways. Jessica possesses superhuman strength, agility, and reflexes, as well as the ability to cling to walls. However, she also developed unique abilities, including a venom blast that could stun or incapacitate enemies with bursts of bioelectric energy. Additionally, she emits pheromones that can manipulate emotions, though she struggles to control this power fully. Over the years, Jessica became a member of several major superhero teams, including the Avengers, Sword, and later the Spider Army during multiversal crises. She played a significant role in Spider-Verse, joining other spider heroes to resist the Inheritors. Her combat experience, leadership, and unique powers made her an essential figure in multiverse-spanning conflicts. Jessica's personal life has been equally important in defining her character. She has wrestled with her origins, her connections to HYDRA, and her sense of belonging. In more recent stories, she has balanced her responsibilities as a superhero with motherhood, raising her son Jerry while continuing her fight against powerful foes. As Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew represents both a parallel and a counterpoint to Peter Parker. While Peter's story emphasizes guilt and responsibility, Jessica's emphasizes autonomy and resilience, breaking free from control, forging her own identity and proving that being part of the spider legacy is not limited to those bitten by radioactive spiders. Spider UK, Billy Braddock, Earth 833. Spider UK is Billy Braddock, a British recruit of the Captain Britain Corps, an interdimensional organization dedicated to protecting the multiverse. Born on Earth 833, Billy was both a spider totem and chosen to be Captain Britain, giving him a unique position as both a hero of his own world and a guardian of the wider multiverse. His story combines the heritage of two major Marvel legacies, Spider-Man and Captain Britain. Billy possessed all the core abilities of a Spider-Man: enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, wall crawling, and spider sense. Alongside these powers, he was trained by the Corps in combat and multiversal navigation, making him more disciplined and militarized than most spider heroes. His suit reflected his dual identity, a Spider-Man costume adorned with the Union Jack, symbolizing his role as Britain's spider-themed defender. During the Spider-Verse storyline, Spider UK played one of the most pivotal roles of any variant. Recognizing the threat of the Inheritors, he became a key organizer of the Spider Army, gathering spider-powered heroes from across dimensions to resist their extermination campaign. His leadership skills, discipline, and access to the Captain Britain Corps' multiversal travel technology made him indispensable. Despite his strength, Billy's universe, Earth 833, was eventually destroyed during Secret Wars. He survived the collapse and later joined the Web Warriors, a team of spider heroes tasked with patrolling and protecting realities that had lost their native spider totems. In this group, Billy acted as a steady leader, guiding heroes like Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham, and Pavitr Prabhakar through missions across the multiverse. Spider UK's narrative emphasizes duty and responsibility on a multiversal scale. While Peter Parker fights primarily for New York and others defend their own worlds, Billy embraces the responsibility of protecting countless dimensions. His mixture of Spider-Man's power with Captain Britain's mission makes him one of the most unique and strategically important members of the Spider-Verse. Spider India. Pavitr Prabhakar, Earth 50101. On Earth 50101, the story of Spider-Man is reimagined in the cultural and geographical context of India. Here, the hero is Pavitr Prabhakar, a young boy from a small village who moves to Mumbai with his Aunt Maya and Uncle Bim. Like Peter Parker, Pavitr is an outcast at school, bullied by wealthier students and struggling with feelings of isolation. Pavitr's transformation occurs when he encounters an ancient yogi who grants him spider-like powers to combat an impending evil. These powers mirror those of other spider people, enhance strength, speed, agility, wall crawling, and a spider sense. Instead of acquiring his gifts through science or accident, Pavitr's origin ties his destiny to mysticism and prophecy, linking his powers directly to the spiritual traditions of his world. As Spider-Man, Pavitr battles local crime and also reimagined versions of classic villains. His most notable enemy is Nalin Oberoi, a wealthy industrialist possessed by a demon who becomes his world's equivalent of the Green Goblin. Other foes include familiar archetypes adapted to Indian culture and mythology. Pavitr's struggles also include protecting his Aunt Maya and Uncle Ben, who serve the same guiding role as Aunt May and Uncle Ben in Peter Parker's life. Like Peter, Pavitr learns the painful lesson of responsibility. When he ignores a mugging in order to protect himself, his Uncle Baham intervenes and is fatally stabbed. Overcome with guilt, Pavitr embraces his duty as Spider-Man, realizing that his powers exist to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Pavitr's adventures have taken him beyond his own world. During the Spider-Verse event, he was recruited into the Spider Army to battle the Inheritors. Later, he joined the Web Warriors, patrolling alternate universes alongside Spider-UK, Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Ham. In modern portrayals, including Spider-Man, across the Spider-Verse, Pavitr is depicted with a colorful costume that combines traditional Indian design elements with the familiar Spider-Man aesthetic, reinforcing his cultural roots while marking him as a fully realized hero. Spider India emphasizes that the core ideals of Spider-Man responsibility, sacrifice, and justice are universal. Pavitr Prabhakar stands as proof that the legacy of Spider-Man can be reinterpreted in any cultural context while staying true to its central message. Spider-Rex, Earth 66. Spider-Rex is one of the most unusual and imaginative variants of Spider-Man in the multiverse. Originating on Earth 66, this version is not a human at all but a Tyrannosaurus Rex who gained spider-like abilities. His story is set in a prehistoric world populated by dinosaur analogs of Marvel characters, blending primal adventure with the familiar elements of the Spider-Man mythos. In this universe, the Tyrannosaurus was bitten by a mystical spider totem, granting him powers beyond those of a normal dinosaur. As Spider-Rex, he gained enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, and a heightened danger sense, just like other spider heroes. Despite his massive size and reptilian form, he could web swing using webbing adapted to his physiology, leaping between cliff sides and trees as if navigating the skyscrapers of New York. As Spider-Rex's rogues gallery and allies are equally prehistoric reimaginings of Marvel icons. Among his adversaries is Goblinosaurus, a dinosaur version of the Green Goblin, and other dinosaur-themed analogs of classic Spider-Man villains. His adventures often parody familiar Spider-Man tropes while embracing the primal absurdity of a dinosaur web-slinger. Though his origin is comedic in tone, Spider-Rex became part of the wider Spider-Verse during multiversal crises. He joined other spider-powered beings in battles against the Inheritors and later appeared alongside Spider-Ham, Spider-Gwen, and Spider-Punk. His inclusion highlighted the limitless creativity of the Spider-Verse, where even a prehistoric dinosaur can carry the mantle of Spider-Man. Spider-Rex embodies the adaptability of the Spider-Man concept, stripped of human traits but still embodying courage, responsibility, and the instinct to protect others. This dinosaur version proves that the essence of Spider-Man can exist in any form, no matter how unconventional. Thank you for watching every amazing version of Spider-Man Explained. If you missed part 1, don't worry, you can watch it right here. And if you've already seen both parts, then check out this new video we've selected just for you. And listen to your spider sense. Like and subscribe to help us grow the channel. See you in the next one.